Hi everybody, Ahmad Sadiq from Land Trust Title of Central Florida. Let's talk title. Today, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about what happens in a scenario when we have an inconsistency with the legal description that we're seeing on our title search and what's showing up on a survey once we've received a survey during the transaction. And so what I'm talking about here is when we're doing our title search, generally once we get our title commitment back, the commitment is letting us know, based on the history of the property, what the legal description of the property is. The legal description is the description of the property that's used to convey the property, not only in the past, but what we're going to use going and moving forward in the future. In some instances, when we're working on a transaction, we might get a survey from a surveyor that tells us that there's some difference in the legal description based on what they're seeing on the property when they surveyed it compared to what's been recorded in public records. And there could be a number of reasons for this. It could be a newly recorded easement that's been filed. There's some change in some surrounding property that has an impact on our subject property. But there are instances where we find that the legal description of the property has been incorrectly recorded at some point in the past. So, for example, lot 95, right? And the property ultimately is actually not lot 95, but at some point somebody put lot 195, and another title company or another attorney's office never went back far enough to make sure that that was to find out whether that was an actual error or whether the actual lot was 195 or 95. So we'll deal with situations sometimes when we're getting our title search that tells us that there's a particular lot associated with that property, or that the measurement of the property's borders is one thing and the surveyor is telling us that it's something else. In those scenarios, we have to go back into the history of the property as far back as we can go to see if there was an error in one of the recordings or if something has changed ultimately. And if something has changed or if there was an error, the next step that we're going to take is we're going to get an affidavit from the surveyor. A lot of times underwriters will give a lot of weight to what a surveyor is telling us because they're the ones that are out there physically measuring the property and seeing how the property is compared to any of the adjoining lots or any of the adjoining areas. So if we get an affidavit from the surveyor saying, here's what the legal description is of the property, we can submit that to our underwriter, and then we'll take the appropriate steps necessary, including going back and getting corrective deeds or recording the current deed of the subject property with the correct legal description moving forward so that that error is no longer there. Guys, thank you so much for your time. See you next time.